Welcome to the Inspired Connection. I am so happy that you are here. Truly, this is the place to build your true potential. It is about fueling your purpose, building your passion, building your authenticity and your strategic action to create purpose to profits, to align your purpose with your profit.
Yes, it is. So honestly, Pamela, thank you for jumping on for this interview today. I am very excited about what we can bring you. My name is Carolyn Cooper, and I am a mindset coach, mastermind facilitator, and speaker. And my purpose in life is to bring inspired, loving leadership to the world, and to bring that, creating authentic purpose, passion, and a positive perspective. And I have a question for you. Are you ready to navigate change with confidence and lead with clarity in these incredibly uncertain times? If the answer is yes, you are in the right place. And this interview with Pamela Thompson today will be insightful and impact your ability to be empowered and mission-driven to embrace change with clarity, confidence, as well as resistance. So let me tell you a little bit about Pamela before I ask her a few questions. So Pamela Thompson is a leadership and transition coach and consultant, best-selling author, she's going to tell you about that in a minute, and a visionary leader who has, lived and worked on 5 continents. So interesting. She supports mission-driven women at the crossroads to navigate change with that increased clarity, confidence, and insights. So she's also the founder of Female Wave of Change Canada, a national non-profit dedicated to the building of more equitable and sustainable world through the power of feminine leadership. And she's the creator of the Art of Change framework, a transformative process that supports people to navigate life's transitions. She's written 3 books, and one that she'll tell you the success already, and it's not even launched yet. Her first book is called Learning to Dance with Life, a guide for high achieving women. The second is The Exploits of Minerva, reflections of a 60-something woman. And her newest book is called Truths and Contradictions, Life-Changing Experience in Afghanistan. So Pamela, thank you. I mean, you and I have had a relationship and known each other for a few decades now, in and out of our partnership and collaboration at times. And you bring so much wisdom to the table, and with such grace and ease in which you present your information. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions. And so would you share with us and explain how we can really thrive on change, and how, you believe that life is an adventure to be lived to the fullest? I know you have many mechanisms to do that, but, how do we get through these uncertain times with resilience?
Well, first of all, thanks very much for inviting me to be here, Carolyn, and for the gracious introduction. I'm excited to be here. These are times of incredible change and uncertainty. And I actually have been working with people, coaching them and supporting them through life transitions since about 2009. And certainly now is probably the most uncertain time ever for people. And I guess one of the things I bring to the table is because I've worked in conflict zones like Afghanistan, we're living in times of uncertainty all the time, and so I learned some lessons from doing that that I think are really helpful now. And also, I also believe, like you say, life's an adventure to be lived to the fullest. So what about turning change on its head, and instead of being something we fear, making it something that could actually be fun or playful, having some fun with it? And now that sounds really crazy at the moment, but bear with me. I've developed this 5-step art of change framework. It's based on the metaphor life as a dance and underpinned by the belief that embracing change is a creative process that opens us up to new possibilities. So this 5-step framework, what I found when I've worked with people, it helps them identify how they typically respond to change and why. It gives them a framework and some tools to walk through that involves letting go, identifying lessons learned, envisioning their new relationship, their new life, their new business of their dreams, and then taking action toward them, right?
Yes.
And so it's really helpful for people to understand. And like the first, I won't go through it in detail, but the first question in the first piece is, how do you typically respond to change and why? On a scale of 1 to 10. Scares me to death, thrive on it. So, for example, how about you, Carolyn? How do you typically respond to change and why on a scale of 1 to 10?
The truth is, I used to resist change. I used to do whatever I could to avoid change. Now I look at it truly, it's what you said. I look at it as an opportunity to be curious, to wonder, to see what can be rather than what has been. So my perspective has changed dramatically in the, in this life's journey of evolution. And I do truly create a new vision too. And also I ask for support, which I didn't used to do in my younger years. I do not stay down for long. Anybody who knows me, if life happens, there is uncertainty externally. But what I do is I go, okay, so who do I need to call? What do I need to do? And where can I find solutions and answers right now that are in alignment with my vision, my core values? And so I shift much quicker than what I used to. So I'm just passionate about not suffering through change.
Totally. Okay, I'll share. Thanks for that. That's really helpful to know. In addition to giving people this framework and guiding them through this process and giving them tools, it's really important for people to understand that they balance their nervous system. So, we've had the fight flight, which is the sympathetic. It doesn't seem very sympathetic system. And then we have the parasympathetic, the calming and restoring side. And so you may say, okay, well, how do you do that? How do you balance your nervous system? Well, a real simple thing to do when you feel anxiety coming on and something big going to happen is to take what I call oxy breaths. And so you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your mouth, and you make a noise when you do that. In through your nose and out through your mouth. You can do it if you want. In through your nose, out through your mouth. 3 times. And what do you notice after you do that? Do you notice any difference in your body?
Yeah, for sure. It's more relaxed.
Exactly.
And I'm also more connected to my body.
Totally. So it helps you, relax and get out of your head and into your body, which is what we need to do during these stressful times. Mm-hmm. Another thing to do is move your body. It can be it could be putting on your favorite tunes and dancing around your kitchen or your living room. It can be going for a walk and could be doing yoga. But it's really important to move our bodies because it increases our energy level and gets us out of that fear, right? Yes. Takes us to a different space, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is nature. Nature is so important. Like even if you only get out for 20 minutes a day. Yes. And the thing is too, if you can walk where there's trees, did you know that trees help reduce our blood pressure, reduce our heart rate, and help strengthen our immune system? Just walking where their trees are. So again, other thing.
Can I add one thing to that?
Sure.
So, in my life, I've been learning to deal with change and stress and honor myself more in the last 4 or 5 years of my life. So I have non-negotiables in the morning, and that is to get into nature for 45 minutes, to just really receive the nourishment. I call that nature's nourishment. So it's really in alignment with what you're saying right now. And I do a jaunt. So it's not a jog or a walk, it's halfway in between. So I just think movement just gets us out of our head and connecting, to be in the present moment, to connect with nature, the beauty, the trees, the flowers, the water. You and I live in the same city. We live in a beautiful city, but it's just to take that time out to have that nature's nourishment can change everything, especially with self-care and going through change. I just want to share that.
Totally. Good on you. You're doing the right things there, Carolyn. And that bit about mindfulness too, and there's different mindfulness activities certainly you can do, but it helps us stay. When we're mindful, we're present. So we're not worrying about the past. We're not worrying about the future. We're totally here and now. Because it's when we start to worry and our mind goes wild about possible things that can happen that just takes us out of being grounded and able to be, to deal. The other thing that happens is, as you know, if you resist change rather than embrace it, it has negative impacts on our bodies, our mind, our relationships, and our bottom lines. So it's really
our health too.
Yeah, our bodies, yeah. And that's why, yeah. And the thing is, our amygdala, that part of our brain that's always there to protect us, is always searching the environment for perceived threats. And when it sees them, it sends, it makes the body send out those stress hormones. It's a really good thing. However, it's only meant to happen for short bursts of time. And when we're nervous and stressed all the time, it leads to burnout. You literally burn your organs out because your body's meant to return to what's called homeostasis and relax. But if you're totally on edge all the time, it doesn't happen. So it's really bad for you.
Yeah. And long term, it can cause really significant issues.
Totally.
In our body. So I always listen to my body. And I think that each of us really needs to be self-aware and curious and listening to what our bodies have to say to us. I know that when I need more sleep, I know that when I've been on Zoom too much, I need to, step back and, do a little bit more yoga, experience some more joy, with my family or whatever it is. Yet I think our bodies speak to us.
Oh, totally. Totally. I agree with you. In fact, that's the first key in my book, Learning to Dance with Life. It's listen to and trust in your body's wisdom, because it always knows the truth. Your head doesn't always, but your body always knows the truth.
Cool.
And the other thing about connecting with your body, it's really important to connect with ourselves. But another way to balance your nervous system is to connect with somebody that you trust and you co-regulate, because they bring you, it's like, they make you feel safe. And so then you relax, right? So it's really important to have those people in your life that you can do that with.
Well, I love this. This is so good. It's so good. And it's the truth. I have a few people that are part of that I call my dream team. So when I start going off the path or thinking, not adding to my life, taking away or creating some angst about anything, I connect with them. I call them my lifelines, and they support me to come back to center, to know the truth. And it is a calming, grounding experience. And it's really safe, like you said, which is important, but also it's really accepting and loving and non-judgmental, that, that I can be heard, but then also reground myself into the actual truth, not where I'm spinning off to.
Totally. Good for you.
Cool. So tell us, please. Now you have a huge win to share today that you shared in the green room. Could you please tell everybody about your current result of looking at Amazon today?
Well, do you want me to share a little bit about my book?
I do.
Okay, then. Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Well, my new book that's officially launching on Amazon April the 8th is called Truths and Contradictions, Life-Changing Experiences in Afghanistan. And it's based on, the first part of the book is based on when I was living and working and as a consultant for the Ministry of Public Health there. And so it shares the funny stories and the scary stories of living and working in a conflict zone as a white Canadian woman. And the second half of the book is based on interviews I did with Afghan colleagues and their friends about their experiences growing up in Afghanistan and being there during key historic events. And so it was really something, it was really special. I felt called to write this book, Carolyn. And my why really is to dispel myths about Afghanistan and Islam, because there's so many myths out there, and to shine the light on the incredible courage and resilience of the Afghan people, because they're amazing people. The people I worked with, I have worked in a number of countries and cultures, as you know, and I got to say that the Afghans really got under my skin in a very positive way. And I really feel called to get the message out into the world. But this book has a broader message in that it ends with what can you do to support Afghan women and girls, and then it says, what can you do to help build peace and understanding in your own life, your community, and beyond. Yeah. Because my goodness, we need more of that today. That's for sure.
Well, we do, and we need books. We need people to inspire us to find our own purpose and passion. So, this book you were called to write. You just had to write it. That's your why, to share this message. And I think it's a very purposeful, profound, and passionate message. And it's what the world needs to hear right now. So Pamela's book and link. So you got to tell them the win.
that was something I shared with you. Well, anyway, my official Amazon launch is the 8th, and that's a 24-hour launch window where the more people who buy the book, it means it goes out, the message gets spread around the world, bigger and better and bolder. Oh. And what happened is I just happened to look at my Amazon.
See what your vision is of the result of this book though, first.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I would like it to make number 1. That's my vision. You get to pick 3 categories in multiple markets. That's what I would like. Not only in .ca, but in .com and multiple European and other markets. Because as I say, this is a message that's important to get out right now. This is not so much about me. It's really about the message and the people. And I just happened to look at my Amazon.ca yesterday, and I was number 1 in 2 categories already, and I haven't even launched my book.
You haven't launched the book yet.
No.
I know. So I want people to realize that when you live your purpose, when you live your passion, that's what happens. Really incredible results happen. So you're a huge inspiration to many, many, many people over many decades, Pamela. And I'm so excited about this book. And I have absolutely know for a fact that you're going to reach that vision and goal with this book. And I'm just honored to be a part of that. So thank you for being in this interview today. And you have a special gift for people too, right? Do you want to tell them about that?
Well, yes, thank you. It's called 5 Leadership Lessons. I always have to look at the title because I changed it up a couple of times. 5 Leadership Lessons for Resilience and Growth, Insights from Living and Working on 5 Continents. So yeah, there's these lessons, and I share stories as well in them as well. So
that's your free gift. It'll be in the information down below. And I have a gift for you too. So my gift is what my signature program is, the AIM High System. Activate your inspired mindset. 6-step system. And I am contributing a checklist to you that will support you to transform where you are to where you truly want to be, with a 30-day checklist looking at the 6 steps of the AIM High system. So that is my gift to you, to take truly purposeful and passionate action on those things that you want to be intentional with to create that prosperity within your life and your business. So that's available for you too down below. So Pamela, thank you for jumping on, and I wish you extraordinary success. And for each person that makes a decision to to read this book, they will experience the adventure that you have received. And, you know, I just think the whole thing is just so positive and wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your show.
Great. Awesome. We'll see you again. I'll have you back. I am sure of that. Thank you.